One thing people would be most surprised to know about you.
How much I love depressing things. Oh, it's my mom. Oh, she says, what's your favorite thing about your mom? Ha, her laugh.
What's the coolest thing about your family?
How good we are at arguing.
What's the silliest nickname ever given to you?
Flaca.
In general, when do you feel most beautiful?
When I'm with the people I love.
When do you feel most creative?
When I'm sad. Do you want to listen to music?
Would love to.
Okay. What kind?
Kind of in the mood for some royalty-free elevator music.
Oh my gosh, that's what I was just listening to before you got here.
Chances of that.
Perf.
Okay, I think it's time for a bunch of music questions.
Okay.
What's your favorite song to blast in the car?
That's what I like, Bruno Mars.
If you recorded a secret song, what would your pseudonym be?
Alanis Zomeg.
If your life were a song, what would the title be?
I'm still figuring it all out.
Do you remember what your first concert was?
Britney Spears.
What's the most experimental genre of music you'd ever try out?
Jazz.
Who's an artist we'd be surprised that you listen to?
Patsy Cline.
What musician would you love to collaborate with?
Elvis Presley.
What's the best jingle ever created?
Call 1-800-STEAMERS. Stanley Steamer, make carpet cleaner. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best jingle. If you look behind
I just
you,
did that. Okay.
there is a foam board. And can you write down your favorite word of all time with this marker right here? Grateful.
Feel to be the child whose parents literally did not care what they named them. They just kind of named them anything. Because how can you make a whole human look at it and be like, I don't fucking know, Brittany, and just like have no meaning behind the name and just pick a random name? Because that is what my parents did. When I was born, they picked two names that they both liked. So they look at my 2-year-old brother and they're like, pick one, and he picked one. To this day, he will walk up to me and be like, you know what? You're named because I said so. And I'm like, so you're the son of a bitch. So you're the reason I have to blame. He's like, yeah, but I should have picked the other name because I don't like the name that you have now. I made a mistake. And so I walked into my Mandarin class the other day and the teacher's like, some of you guys have Chinese names but don't have Chinese origins. And it's because your Chinese friends have given you Chinese names. So if any of you don't have a Chinese name and you would like one, email me and we'll see what we can do. And I was so excited. I was like, I have never emailed a professor in my entire life because emails are too permanent. Like if I can't send a message that I can unsend like a DM, it's not a message I will send. But I emailed that man so fast. I was like, hey, if you're still up for it, I would love a Chinese name if that's possible. He was like, yeah, for sure. Can you tell me a bit about your first and last name and if they have any personal meaning to you? And I had no idea how to nicely explain to this man that somebody could have walked up to my mother who had freshly given birth to me and been like, oh my god, you should name her Concrete, and my mom would have been like, oh, little baby Concrete. My aunt suggested that my mom name me Jade, and that was the one veto she had. She was like, no, I'm not gonna name her Jade. I could have been Jade. Did you even try? Just kind of like, no, they don't have any personal meaning, but you can name whatever you like, whatever you think is best. And he was like, all right, I'll get back to you. And I waited by my email like a kid on Christmas for hours. I have never waited for an email more in my entire life, and he finally responded to me, and my Chinese name is Le Xiaolan. So in Chinese names, the last name comes first, but it's not the last name that generally carries the meaning in the name. So the character that I have for my last name, Le, means happy, but it's not really the meaning of my name. And then the middle character means young or little, but again, that doesn't really carry the meaning in the name. And then the last one would be my first name, which is Lan. Lan means graceful, and then I looked it up and it also means orchid. So I would either be like happy, young, graceful, or happy little orchid. I FaceTimed my mom immediately and I was like, Mom, my new name is Le Xiaolan, and if you don't call me that, I don't answer.
So yesterday in my coffee talk, I said that I was not planning on evacuating unless I was forced to evacuate, meaning like a mandatory evacuation. Plans have changed and I believe we're leaving tonight. Our evacuation zone is zone C, and we were recommended to evacuate at like 7 a.m. this morning. It's like 11:13 a.m. and we're still trying to figure out what to do. I really don't want to leave. I want to believe that everybody's blowing this way out of proportion and that everything's going to be okay, but this is safety and I'm kind of like torn. The storm surge would probably flood my car. It would flood my house. I'm scared that I'm going to lose my stuff. But the hard part is that my check engine light is on in my car, so I'm not sure how far I'll be able to get in the evacuation process. And we're traveling with 2 dogs, and a lot of people are either completely booked up or don't allow dogs. I can't make this up. As I'm literally making this video, I just got a warning on my phone. I can hear my mom's going off in the background about the storm surges and that we're like supposed to leave. But I just need to find a hotel that'll allow my dog, because I'm not leaving without my dog.
These are real messages from a CEO in Florida telling her employees that they have to come into the office. And, since there's a hurricane, she'll be nice and let them bring their kids so that they can work while everyone shelters in place from the life-threatening hurricane. The CEO literally says, "Bring your kids to work Tuesday and Wednesday this week. We will have movies and fun for them." Bold of her to assume there would be power, considering the entire power grid of Cuba has been knocked out by this life-threatening hurricane. Don't worry, I'm a workers' rights attorney, not a coward. The company is Postcard Mania, and they think they're so important that they're going to stay open during this frickin' hurricane, and they'll see you at the staff meeting. Obviously, this caused immediate backlash, as it should have, and I believe the company has walked this back, but it still exposes their character. The question is, what can workers do if they're ordered to go work in a hurricane? This one is tricky, because if you're part of an essential service like fire, police, or utility workers, you really can't refuse that order. If you work for a less important company, like, I don't know, Postcard Mania, you probably should refuse that order because it's very dangerous, but it's not going to stop them from firing you. Your best remedy is through a negligence claim if you actually get hurt, or filing a complaint with OSHA, which specifically requires employers to not have unreasonable threats to your safety in a work environment. Legal options are limited, but that's just where we are in the United States right now. And to all my followers in Florida, please stay safe out there.